look at some aspects about the Quran that sort of clears issues for us, for mankind. When Allah created man, He says clearly in the Quran, He created man as the Khalifa, the one who has the power to change the earth, change the physical creation, and even change himself. That's the Khalifa. Most creatures don't have that power. Most creatures don't have that, not only power, authority. Man has not only the power, he has the authority to do that. When Allah created everything, He said kun, and everything came into existence. Sure, we live in a period of time where we can begin to discern time, but that kun is still going on. Started, He said it, and it's continuing. Kun, fire kun, everything came in. In that process was a process that Allah explains to us in the Quran. He's a process on which He has created everything. Din al-Fitr. He has created everything on a particular pattern. And so that pattern is sure. And if man follows the pattern, he can't go wrong. Only problem man will have is to get away from the pattern that Allah has created for man. And that pattern is in everything. It's not just in some things. That pattern is in everything. That pattern is in the grass as it grows. That pattern is in the trees and what they give back into the atmosphere, the nitrogen or the oxygen. They take and give back the nitrogen, carbon dioxide, excuse me. And all of the things in the creation follow this particular pattern. And man too, but He's given man an extra. He's given man extra authority. He's given man the extra authority to change things. To change things. This is a powerful authority given to man by Allah. Man has the power to change things. Other creatures do not. Other creatures try to make changes, and those changes, when they get away from the pattern, destroy them. They can't survive. Man has been given the power to change things, and he's also been given the intellect to understand that the things he changes, if he stays with the pattern of Allah, those changes will last. But the moment he moves out of that pattern, the changes man makes will disappear. Will disappear. The pattern is simple. The pattern is simple. In fact, this is one of the reasons many nowadays look at the Declaration of Independence as authored by Thomas Jefferson when America, the colonies, fought for their freedom from England, of Britain. And in that document, you will see that Thomas Edison also understood that pattern. It is reported that he, in searching for things to put into the Declaration of Independence, he searched out knowledge everywhere. And one of the things he searched for, and he went and bought it for himself from a dealer, was a Quran. A Quran. And he used the Quran to begin to try to understand the difference in terms of relationships. How to relate to someone who has a different belief than you. How to relate to someone who has come from a different place in the creation than you. This is very important because for him, he had to put together a document that related to all people. Related to all people and related to all circumstances. So he had to seek deep. He had to search hard. And it is the belief of others and myself and So other researchers that he searched in the Quran very deeply. And when you read the Declaration of Independence, you will see that pattern that the Quran has. It starts with that pattern. So we hold these truths to be, that man is created. All men are created by their creator. See, that's a pattern. That's a pattern in the Quran. Quran lets us know that Allah is khalaqa. Khalaqa. He's also the creator of man. Khalaqa insan. See, so Jefferson was recognizing a pattern that exists in the creation. So he began to fashion that document on that pattern. And when he said that all men are created with unalienable rights, that means that the one who created man created them with certain rights. That couldn't be taken away. That couldn't be stopped. That's Quran. That's Quran. It is between you and your Lord, Allah says. Between you and your Lord, not you and someone else. No one else can even speak in your behalf. No one can carry the burdens of another. You have to carry your own burden. And Allah says He's given us the power to do that. So the pattern that the Quran shows is also the pattern that was adopted in the Declaration of Independence by the authors of it. And it went so far that says when people realize they have to have a government. See, this is another thing that was recognized in this particular document, that Allah created man. He created man with the ability to think. And He created man not like the tree that cannot move from its roots. But He created man with the ability to go anywhere He wanted to go. Then He created man with the ability to govern himself, to make his own decisions. He gave him a mind that he is solely his own. No one can control his mind but himself unless he lets someone else control it. It didn't have to submit to anything. It doesn't have to submit to the angels. It doesn't have to submit to the earth. It doesn't have to submit to nothing except Allah. And then Allah gave it an unusual power to say, you don't even have to submit to me. That's how powerful the mind that Allah created is. He said, you don't even have to submit to me. Submit to me out of your will. Submit to me because you believe it. Submit to me because you found it to be the truth. With your own rational mind, with your own logic, you saw it was truth. You saw it was best to submit to the supreme being, the creator of all things. He gave man that power. And when you read that document, you see it in there, that pattern. And then the document goes a little further. And it says that they find themselves with the need to be governed, to set up a government. Allah gave man that power too. Allah did not set up a government for the world. I know a lot of people say Islam is a government, but Islam is not a government. Islam is not a government. Islam is a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a way we should live. And those who govern should follow that way of life. But it is not a government. Allah gave that power solely to man to set up his own government, whatever way he wanted to set it up. And the closer that government came to the pattern in which Allah created things, that government would last. When that government got away from that power, no matter what the government did, when it got away from that pattern that Allah had established, it came down and was replaced by a new government, replaced by a new people, replaced by a new culture, replaced by a new society and a civilization. It has to stay to the pattern. Man has that power to govern himself. And so, in shaping this tool for government as a foundation for the government to establish itself, It established first what? It established the Creator. It established the Creator. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's the whole thing we say. But we say there is no God but Allah. And in that establishing, all men are created by the Creator. They're establishing the Creator. He established the Creator before he studied any more words. And then, as the document went on and establishes that the governed must be governed. We must set up a government, it says. Set up a government that would lend itself to those particular inalienable rights which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A government that submits to that is the kind of government we want. What the document was saying. Because we are governed. We are being governed. But we have to establish a government that would look for those things to protect us, to guarantee us life, to guarantee us the pursuit of happiness, to guarantee us liberty, freedom. That's what this document is saying. It's echoing the Quran over and over and over. And when you read the two of them, you see it. But you must read it to understand the power of this thing, because it has a universal power. And it has a power that can last through time because of its submitting to the Creator and establishing those things that's coming directly from the Quran. Life. Allah guarantees all creatures life. Liberty, freedom. He guarantees us freedom and the pursuit of happiness. He's given us everything we can have to pursue our choice, our happiness. What makes us happy? He gave us a brain to think, arms and legs to work with, eyes and ears. He gave us 5 senses to bring in all of this in the physical world and bring it into a way where we can pursue that which makes us happy. Allah did that. This is an echoing of the Quran. I can see clearly now. Not just because I was a follower like most of us who was there at the time, when Imam Muhammad walked across the stage with the American flag and saying he support this. We didn't quite understand. I didn't quite understand, but maybe some others did. But I didn't quite understand it at the time because we had been conditioned to think America was a country with a race of devils. And there was never be any good. It'd be burned to the ground. It'd be burned so badly that it'd take hundreds of years before it could be lived in this part of the world again. Now that's the way we were taught before Imam Muhammad came. And when he came and walked with the American flag, that started to trigger some things in our thinking. And those of us who did wake up to that, woke up to it past the idea of just, oh, I'm an American now. No, you get past that. What does that mean? What does it mean when you say you're an American? Does it mean you're a Muslim? Does it mean you're not a Muslim? What does it mean? Does it mean you're a Christian or you're not a Christian? What does it mean to be an American? Every American should know that. Every American should understand that. That does not mean you follow the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States came into existence 10 years after the Declaration of Independence. You should have a grasp of what it means to be an American. Because when you see what it means to be an American, you understand the power of submitting to the fact that you're Muslim. Obeying Allah's command. Because an American who comes under this Declaration of Independence feels that, knows that, and understands that, whether they are Christian or not. That wasn't a Christian document. You have to understand that. The Declaration of Independence was not a Christian document. It was not a document for white people. We need to get that out of our mind. The word white is not mentioned in the Declaration of Independence. The word people is not mentioned with the prefix of white or black. The only time you see people is with people. The only time you see man is with man. Color is not mentioned there. Origin is not mentioned there. In fact, place of origin is not mentioned there. The only thing that is mentioned that we was created. All men are created, it says. All men are created with unalienable rights from their creator. Why? I believe if Thomas Edison can stand up and talk about the Quran, he'll preach the same thing from this Quran. We are blessed to be here in America. That's a sign. We are blessed to be in America. Don't take it lightly now. Don't take this thing of America that we're here, don't take it lightly. America is just another country, don't take it lightly. Because America is under a government that follows the Constitution of the United States. And that Constitution can be shaped and altered and amended and pointed in the direction of whoever's shaping it and orchestrating it. So we, as Americans, we have to be very careful. As Americans, we have to be very watchful. As Americans, we have to be on course with the Declaration of Independence. Because that's our backbone. That's our identity. And we have to be very watchful. Very watchful. Because this land, this country, this concept has been established. And I do believe it was Allah who put this in this place, this day, for a greater purpose than what we see now. But that purpose depends on you and your understanding on who you are and why you are that and why you are here when you're here. What does that mean for the future? What does that mean for the world that's coming? Is America the doorstep for tomorrow? And if it is the doorstep for tomorrow, that makes you in the forefront. Because you accepted Islam. You accepted the word of Allah. And you accepted, more important than anything, you accepted to live Islam. Live the way of life of a Muslim. That's most important. Once you live the life of a Muslim, you affect everything else around you. In this whole pattern that Allah has established in this creation, there is nothing stronger. There is nothing stronger than the pattern that Allah has established in man, and doubly when man accepts himself as a Muslim. Take a short pause. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. In our closing remarks, we want to remind ourselves as we read the Quran that it is Allah talking to us directly. It's not Allah talking to your brother who's next to you. He could be sitting right next to you. Right next to you. But he's talking to you directly. And even these cook bars, every word that comes from Allah's Quran is for you directly. Many times the imams put something together, but they don't have it all together. They have as much as they can deal with together. And when you talk yourself, and when you talk to friends and people, and when you start talking about Islam, some things you didn't know you knew come out. Because you begin to see it reality. Because reality is the world. In your mind is not real yet. It's still in your mind. But when you start moving your mouth, when you start moving your mouth with your thoughts, then it becomes into a reality. You can hear the sounds. Then the sound come back to you. And you say to yourself, Alhamdulillah. Because Allah is constantly teaching each and every one of us as an individual. There's nobody left out of that equation. Everyone is guided by Allah. You can call him what you want to call him, whatever religion he is. Allah is his God. Allah is his creator. And then he's created on a pattern. And all he has to do is live that. And then once he lives that and recognizes it, it's a double kind of influence and a double kind of benefit. But some people live it and don't recognize it. But they live it because they're good people. They're just good-natured people. They follow their good nature. They don't follow that what they see going on in the street. They follow the goodness in them. The conscience in them say, no, don't do that. They don't do that. No, that's not right. Even during the time of slavery, the lynch mobs, all of the people, all of the Caucasians who was there, all of the European Americans who were there, all of them weren't in agreement with that. When those who shaped the Constitution to imply that the slave was less than a man, it didn't say it implied it. There were some who didn't agree with that because it was not unanimous. It wasn't a unanimous vote. Some didn't agree with that. So you can see there are people who follow their own conscience. And this is what we should do as Muslims. Follow everything you see. Follow the logic of it. Follow the logic of it to its logical conclusion. And then rest your case. Stand with that. Stand with that. Stand with what Allah has blessed you to understand. So we thank Almighty Allah for blessing us to be here this day. And we ask Allah to forgive us of our faults. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Our Lord, give us the best of this world and of the hereafter, and protect us from the fire. Amen. Count us this one.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah. Come to salah, come to salah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah.